Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. The world of international relations is being reshaped before our eyes. On August 15, 2025, President Donald Trump issues a stark warning to the BRICS nations: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This isn't just diplomatic posturing. It's a direct economic threat. The administration signals readiness to impose sweeping tariffs, drawing a clear line in the sand. This move comes as nearly 100 nations explore ways to reduce their dependence on the US dollar, challenging American global influence. The confrontation marks a dramatic escalation in the struggle over the world's economic order. On one side, the US, determined to maintain economic supremacy through an aggressive America First policy. On the other, BRICS, united by a vision for a more multipolar world. The threat of tariffs is Trump's primary weapon, designed to penalize any nation challenging the financial architecture that has long benefited the US. News of 100 nations potentially ditching the dollar has sent shockwaves through financial markets and government offices worldwide. This movement is a direct reaction to years of US sanctions and the use of the dollar as a tool of foreign policy. The standoff is the culmination of simmering resentments now boiling over into open economic conflict. For the US, the dollar's dominance is at stake. For BRICS, it's a risky but potentially rewarding gamble for economic sovereignty. The rest of the world faces profound uncertainty in global trade and finance. Businesses, investors, and ordinary citizens are caught in the crossfire of this high-stakes geopolitical chess match. The decisions made now will likely define the rules of international commerce for a generation. President Trump's main tool against the BRICS alliance is the tariff. He threatens a sweeping 10% tariff on all goods from the 5 member nations, a broad-based economic assault. The goal: deter any move by BRICS to abandon the US dollar in trade. This strategy is central to Trump's transactional foreign policy, using economic pain to force change. Instead of dividing BRICS, the threat has pushed them to present a more united front, condemning the move as protectionist. Trump's aggressive posture is fostering a greater sense of shared purpose among BRICS. These tariffs are more than economic policy, they're a geopolitical statement. The message attempts to build an alternative economic system will not be tolerated. The stage is set for a prolonged, potentially damaging trade war over who writes the rules of the global economy. At the heart of Trump's stance is a fear of de-dollarization, the process of reducing the US dollar's global dominance. For decades, the dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency, giving the US immense economic and political power. The BRICS' push to trade in their own currencies, especially between China and Russia, threatens to erode this power. If expanded, this could create a vast economic zone where the dollar is unnecessary. Every transaction bypassing the US system is a small victory for de-dollarization. The BRICS are also developing alternatives to the SWIFT payment system, which the US uses to enforce sanctions. A BRICS-led payment system would allow trade without fear of US interference, weakening a key American tool. The White House sees this as a direct political assault on US leadership. Tariff threats are a forceful response, undermine the dollar, and the US will inflict economic pain. The administration's gamble is to halt de-dollarization before it becomes unstoppable. The stakes: America's ability to dictate global financial terms. The outcome: a world where US dominance is no longer guaranteed. The battle for currency supremacy is underway. The BRICS group unites 5 major economies with vastly different systems and priorities. China's economic might dwarfs the others, creating internal tensions, especially with India, which has its own rivalries with Beijing. Despite these divisions, BRICS shares a desire for a more equitable global order and greater influence in institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Officially, BRICS claims not to be anti-Western, but Russia and China push for a more confrontational stance against US dominance. They're leading efforts to trade in local currencies and build financial systems outside American oversight. Yet deep trust and alignment are hard to achieve, making ambitious projects like a common reserve currency difficult. Any shift away from the dollar will be slow and incremental, not a sudden revolution. The bloc's potential is undeniable, but internal complexities and the entrenched role of the dollar remain major obstacles. The path to challenging U.S. hegemony is long and uncertain. For now, BRICS is united by purpose but divided by reality. Trump's aggressive tariffs have unleashed global economic uncertainty. Tariffs as high as 55% on Chinese goods have fundamentally altered international trade. The impact reverberates worldwide, creating volatility in financial markets and slowing export-driven economies like China. Even U.S. allies like Switzerland have been hit with unexpected tariffs, highlighting the unpredictability of American trade policy. This has created a tense environment for all trading partners, with countries trapped in endless negotiations. Trade disputes can quickly spiral, injecting instability into the world economy and threatening decades of integration. The established rules of trade are being rewritten in real time. The ripple effects are pushing the world into uncharted territory, where uncertainty is the only constant. Businesses and governments must now navigate a far more treacherous global environment. While aimed at foreign nations, Trump's tariffs hit home hard. U.S. companies relying on imports face higher costs, squeezing profits and forcing tough decisions. Major firms report financial pain, and these costs are often passed to consumers. Everyday products, from electronics to furniture, are more expensive, reducing Americans' purchasing power. For many families, tariffs mean a tangible hit to their budgets. Companies try to absorb costs, but it's unsustainable, leading to cutbacks or price hikes. The narrative that foreign countries pay the tariffs is misleading. It's usually U.S. importers and consumers who bear the burden. The policy's domestic consequences are significant and often overlooked. Protecting American industry comes with real costs for businesses and citizens. The trade war's impact is felt on Main Street as much as in global markets. U.S. tariffs have sparked global retaliation. Countries like Brazil and China have hit back with their own tariffs, targeting key American exports and escalating economic conflict. Even close allies, such as Canada and Mexico, have been forced to reconsider their reliance on the U.S. and seek new alliances. The result? A fragmented, contentious trade environment where old partnerships are strained. Some nations pursue dialogue, but many prepare for prolonged conflict by diversifying trade and strengthening regional blocs. China's tariffs on U.S. agriculture are a strategic move to inflict political and economic pain. The world of international trade is now more complex and unpredictable. Industries from agriculture to tech are caught in the crossfire. The era of predictable, rules-based trade is giving way to power politics and shifting alliances. The threat of tariffs has forced American companies to overhaul global supply chains. Firms are relocating manufacturing from China to countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, or Mexico, seeking stability and lower costs. This scramble is accelerating innovation, with businesses investing in automation and AI to boost efficiency and resilience. Ports like Los Angeles see record cargo as companies rush to beat new tariffs, highlighting deep business uncertainty. Temporary truces offer little relief. Instability persists. Companies are building redundancy into supply chains, prioritizing resilience over efficiency. The days of relying on a single globalized supply chain are over. This marks a fundamental shift in how goods are produced and moved worldwide. Despite negotiations and temporary truces, uncertainty dominates global trade. The U.S.-China tariff conflict's brief pauses fail to resolve core disagreements, leaving businesses and governments on edge. The constant threat of new tariffs makes long-term planning nearly impossible, chilling global investment and growth. Companies hesitate to expand or hire, slowing economic momentum worldwide. Direct tariffs, retaliation, and supply chain upheaval have created a complex web of challenges. No sector is untouched. Everyone feels the effects. The world now faces a new normal. Volatility replaces stability, and globalization gives way to fragmentation. Navigating this unpredictable landscape is the defining challenge for today's leaders.